I'd like to ask you a couple of important questions about your goals. The first is, can you imagine the effect it would have on your life if you reached December this year with those goals achieved and under your belt? What would your life look like? What would change for you? How would you feel internally? What would be your sense of accomplishment? And the second question I'd like to ask you is, what system do you have in place, locked in for achieving those important goals this year? If you haven't got anything yet, I'd like to share with you what I'm doing. It's a very simple system, but an incredibly effective one. I use this for my own goals all the time. It's a technique taught in most of the major creative thinking courses. Brian Tracy recommends it. It's one that's used by a lot of high-powered people all around the world, but it's remarkably simple. All you do is take your top 4 or 5 goals. Perhaps if you're working in a corporate company, it might be your top 4 or 5 projects. And all you do is you write out 20 ways to achieve that goal. 20 different approaches, 20 different things that you can do to make it a reality. Now, this is not a purely mental exercise. It is important to actually write it down. So you're going to need to start in, say, a Microsoft Word file, or grab an old pen and a piece of paper. And sometimes writing it out physically is the more effective option. Now, let me give you a very small example of how this might work. My younger sister has, as a goal for this year, get a new car. Now, as a student, she has limited financial means. So, what she should do is sit down and write out 20 different ways to get a new car this year. And of course, you might start with things like grand theft auto and bank robbery. But that's only 2. Now you have another 18 to go. And it's important that you get as far as writing out all 20, because the first 4 or 5 ways usually come quite easily. But then you start getting into 6, 7, 8, and 9 and pushing your mind further and becoming more and more focused and more creative. And it's usually somewhere around 9 or 10 or 11, that you start getting ideas that you go, hey, I could actually do that. Or perhaps better still, ideas that make you look at them and go, why haven't I been doing that already? 20 different ways to achieve your goal. Whether that's world domination or writing a book, whether it's becoming famous in your field, becoming an icon in your industry, or whether it's simply getting a degree. Whatever the case might be, write out your major goals and come up with 20 different ways to achieve them. That's my challenge to you for today. And I'll see you in December when those goals are under your belt and you're ruling your world.